You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Sword Art Online After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Sword Art Online After Show.
Hey there, AFTERBUZZ fans. We are here for the Sword Art Online panel. I'm your host, Megan Salinas. Joining me on the panel today is Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies.
And Liz Rishmawy.
Yay!
Yay, I did it!
Yeah!
Get +5 experience points. Unfortunately, Tari Miller can't join us today. He's at a wedding or something. Who does that? But he will be with us next week. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. How do you guys feel after this episode? Because I don't know about you, I feel a combination of anger and sorrow and woe just mixing in my heart.
This was the episode that excited me about the series. The first two were kind of dull for me, and no offense to anybody who loved the first two episodes. Those were more like tutorials for me, both of them. This is the one that made it like, okay, we got some feels, we got some character development with like Mr. Little Emo Whiny Pants.
AKA Kirito.
AKA our main character. This is exactly, like, it was very touching and it's sad, but I feel like this is the episode that made me excited about the rest of the series.
I disagree with touching and sad. I feel emotionally manipulated. I really think that this whole thing was... We'll get into it further because it has to do with the end of the episode, but before we get started, I do want to say if there's anyone listening who hasn't watched the episode yet, trigger warning, we are going to be talking about suicide. Which tells you how this went. But if that bothers you, so you know, you're warned.
FYI, everybody. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it then, because there's a lot to talk about in this episode. We start off with, we're on the 11th floor at like this little tavern, and there is a guild toasting to Kirito's honor. To Kirito, because he saved us. To Kirito.
Yeah.
But,
who are you people?
So we make it very clear that Kirito saved these guys from a bunch of bosses that they had absolutely probably no business trying to take on.
Yep.
And that they're so enamored with Kirito's skill set that they want him to join their guild. And kind of in a weird sort of out of character way, he agrees. He decides to join them. He decides to take a chance and try to make some friends.
Yay.
And this is at the beginning of April.
Yes.
Dates are going to be a thing in this episode. This is at the beginning of April. Does anyone remember when that last boss fight that we saw was?
December. So we've skipped over
4 months.
Yeah, we've skipped over a couple months, and so. And we hear later on in the episode that the assault group has gotten over to like level 28.
Yeah.
So that tells you just how far everybody's come so far. You know, more people have left the town of beginnings, I feel like, and gotten away from the first floor, and they're already to floor 28 after a couple months. So
I feel like the first fight, after the people actually found the first boss to fight, maybe it gave the rest of the people who were still kind of hiding away hope that it was possible to actually have a life outside the game. It's possible to beat it. We can do this. So I feel like that's why it's like it just seems like the world has expanded so much at this point, and not just because of the levels, just more so because of the as we go on and we see all these people.
Yeah,
And it's also the fact that the boss has been cleared and your lowest level monsters on floor 2 are not going to be as difficult to beat as the boss of floor 1.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
a lot of people were able to circumvent the most difficult thing to do on floor 1 without putting their lives in
That's true.
danger.
When you have kind of these higher level groups going out and taking out the bosses, kind of paving the way for people, it allows people like the Moonlit Black Cats, the guild that we meet, to kind of go and to try to take on, to try to level up and to actually, aspire to be one of these groups that are clearing the floors.
What a
and everything
terrible
like
name,
that.
by the way. The Moonlit Black cats.
It just reminds.
Are we 10?
There was a cafe, I think, in another anime. Oh God, it was a Tsubasa, I think.
Yeah.
The Black Cat Cafe. That's all. I just kept on thinking about that. I was like, come on, Neko.
It's this hilariously cutesy little name. It's like you're a bunch of middle schoolers or something.
Well,
Maybe they are.
They
we
look
do
like they're
find out
Kirito's age.
that they're right around Kirito's age.
High
They all
school.
go to the same high school, and that they're all friends. And let's go ahead and introduce our different characters here for the Moonlit Black Cats. We have Keita, who is the group leader. We have Sachi,
Who is the token girl?
She's just adorable. And we've also got Tetsuo, Sasamaru, and Ducker,
He's the
a.k.a.
American.
purple, green, and yellow. Let's face
None
it,
of
the
them-
two that are most important are Keita and Sachi, and out of those two, Sachi is the most important.
In the light novel, none of the other three even had names. Sasamaru and Duggar?
Ducker.
Ducker.
Holy
Ducker
cow.
like you duck.
Well, forget him. Their names aren't even said in this episode, and Tetsuo's name is said once. The abridged series paints them as NPCs, and that's about correct. They are not important people.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because they're kind of color-coded. I look at them and I'm like, they're like a Sentai group. They're just adorable.
I just kept on thinking of the 4 links with the different colors and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Keita,
I think I've made
Sachi,
at least
and then
one Zelda
purple, green, and
reference
yellow.
each of these recap episodes. So I just want you guys to know it may not stop.
Keep it up.
All right.
Keep it up.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm always up for Legend of Zelda references, so this is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just hope they don't turn on each other and start fighting. But basically, okay, we get introduced to them, and then we see Kirito basically helping them to level up. But something kind of important, they ask him when he joins them what level he is at, and he lies. He's at level 40, but he lies to them and says they're at
12.
level 20, I think.
20? Okay.
Not that bad.
So that they can all kind of look at each other as, oh, we're all on the same playing field. You just have a better idea of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so we get them getting experience points together. He's essentially helping them to level up. And we get them, we get Keita talking about the assault group having cleared level 28, and that essentially he's aspiring to be like that. He wants their group to level up so that they can look out for one another and so that they can, beat the game. They're one of those groups aspiring to do just that. But then we have kind of Kirito kind of sneaking away in the night and going up to higher floors so that he can level up
He went up
in the
to
dead of
floor
night.
28
Exactly.
to level up.
I think it's interesting, from the start of this when he joined, but like I told you guys, I had already watched a couple of episodes ahead, and I think what you said last week about him appreciating, the guy who died last week. Diabel. I feel like, you pointed out how much he admired him so much for, sticking out his neck for others, and how it must have really, resonated within Kirito, that I feel like that's why he joined. And, when I first watched the episode right after the second one, I didn't get that. I'm like, yo, bro, what's up? What happened to,
It seemed odd.
I'm alone.
It seemed odd after the whole,
Yeah.
like Tari put it, becoming the lightning rod of hatred for
I love
everybody, that
that
he would
word.
go and join a group the very next episode.
Yeah.
But he's a 15-year-old who's been on his own for 4 months, and these people aren't questioning who he is. They don't recognize his name. They're just saying, "You saved us. Be a part of our group." And he's like,
You're
"I'm
already a
starved
part
for
of-
social interaction.
You're already
I'm
a
gonna
part of
lie to
our
you."
group,
Exactly. And so, looking at it from that perspective, it is a lot more believable that he would join a group. But yeah,
lonely.
watching back to back, it seems out of character for Kirito after the last episode.
Yeah.
But in that context, it makes a lot more sense.
And then, so he's on level 28, and then who do we run into again but
Klein.
I love Klein.
I do too.
And
It's
I
so
love,
great.
I love how
him.
he's taken such control of, from that first episode even, and how he's just gained so much, I know what I'm doing. You can't teach me any more
and
tricks.
he looks so cool too in
Yeah.
his samurai armor and
Oh, yeah.
everything like that. He looks, not only does he know how to take control, he looks like he knows how to take control.
Does anybody else notice that I feel like Klein almost seems, because he sees this little, floating Sims diamond on top of Kirito's head, what the the hell you join a guild? Like, I mean, literally, I'm making it a little more comical, but that's basically, in essence, what had happened.
Well, I looked at this scene and I took it of two different ways. I wasn't sure how to take it because, you know, they reunite and Kirito walks away. You know, the conversation's super short. And Klein's like, oh, are you still mad? You know, are you still upset about something? And I took it one of two ways. One, I was like, either Kirito feels guilty for having joined a group after kind of turning down Klein in the first episode. And then, or two, I was like, is Kirito kind of mad that Klein is doing so well without his help?
Which, depending, you know, and when you make the point like that, depending on, like, again, I haven't read the light novels yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
But I'm feeling like if we asked Tari or Steven if they were here,
we'd get a really.
I feel like they would
answer.
probably be able to tell us that, yeah, he probably was a little jealous of how cool he looks and he's taking command and ship and
He's the leader of his own guild.
But I don't think show Kirito has that in him, and light novel Kirito and show Kirito are two completely different animals.
Light novel Kirito
Because
has a
adaptation.
much sharper edge to him. You know,
Light
with
novel
his
Kirito is almost
angry
a bridge
inner
series
monologue.
Kirito.
I have to tell you, though, I honestly feel like the several interactions Klein has with Kirito in this episode almost is like a scorned woman who got rejected and the man went for someone else. In this case, Klein is the woman. Like, I seriously like, oh, you found someone else.
I see.
I disagree, and I want to get into that more the next time we see Klein, because I think that'll...
Yeah, like I
have
said, I
opinions I
wasn't
can't
sure how to
express yet.
take it. I think it's more of just Kirito feeling guilty that he joined another group.
Or embarrassed.
Or embarrassed, yeah, one of the two. But it's hard to say because we don't get Kirito's inner monologue. We don't get his feelings on it. And that's something that the show does. It takes a lot for us to just sort of infer. And I don't know if that's because it's like there's a lot of context from the light novels that the show just assumes you have, or if it's leaving it up to kind of your interpretation.
Have fun.
It's difficult to say. But anyway, so he goes back down to one of the lower floors, and we get a message from Keita saying that Sachi's run off. So Kirito...
In the middle of the night,
Sachi.
randomly.
Yeah, and so Kirito uses his tracking skills to track her down, and she's hiding under a bridge in the fetal position. And he goes to sit down next to her to talk to see why she's run away. And she's run away because she's having trouble sleeping at night. She's just really tortured at the idea of dying in this game.
The entire time, you know, they keep on trying to get her to be at the front of the line in the battles, and the entire time she's like, no, it's okay. You guys are doing great, all right? Keep up the good work. No, I like my weapons. No, this is my weapon.
I don't need to upgrade. It's okay. I'm cool with what I have.
It's Keita continually pushing her. We need you at the front line with Tetsuo. We need you to do this. We need you to do this.
But at the same time, you know, and
she doesn't want to do it. But she doesn't want to tell them that.
Exactly.
So this is the first time we're going to talk about this. She straight up says, we should run away. We should run from the monsters. We should run from the game. And Kirito's, are you talking about suicide? She doesn't.
That's what he sounds like in the Japanese version.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the courage to kill herself. She doesn't want to kill herself. But she never wanted to leave the town of beginnings to begin with. But she didn't want to leave her friends either. And either her friends don't know that she feels this way,
They don't.
or they didn't bother to ask. Or they know and they don't care.
Well, I think
Which I doubt is the case.
I think, you know, what's his name? Tetsuo.
You know,
What's
the
his name?
important one.
No, Keita's the important one.
Keita's the important one. Tetsuo's the purple guy.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah,
face.
that's what I mean. I feel like Keita, I can't blame him for pushing because obviously he just wants to make sure that they're all leveling up enough that they'll be strong
He wants
enough
them to be strong, to defend themselves.
to survive. Like, don't just leave somebody behind and, you know, kick all the monsters' butts and then, like, come all the way down back to level 1, grab you, and then go all the way out to exit the game. It might not even work like that. We're not even close to that.
Yeah, we don't know.
And, you know, I feel like it was one of those things where I couldn't, you know, dislike him for doing it. And at the same time, she just knew it. Like, I love her. She's adorable, but I just want to shake her. And And it's like one of those things where it's like, well, if you're tired, you might as well try your dang best, like.
Well, what we see is that she's not Asuna. Asuna has a courage that a lot of the people in this game don't.
Of course.
And she's one of the. Although not wanting to, there's the definition of bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what needs to be done.
Exactly.
When you're afraid.
And she is. I mean, she did leave to begin with, so give her some credit where it's due.
Yeah.
But
even though she was terrified, she's still out there with her friends.
Well, it's possible that she came into this game because of her friends. Keita does say that they are friends in real life in the computer club.
Yeah, they're all friends.
So it's possible that everyone else was all gung-ho to get the game, and she went with them because, hey, sure, we'll all play together, we'll faff around, it'll be fun. And then she winds up in this situation. She was probably never meant to be a hardcore player. And yet here she is, forced into this.
But then
this
again,
is a nightmare for her.
But you never know for a fact. And I only say that because I'm a pretty good gamer when I'm playing. But if I'm actually in a game and if I die, I'm gonna die for real. I'm probably not gonna be that hardcore as much as I am if I'm just playing the game. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever, I'll die, YOLO. No, just kidding, not YOLO, because I have Phoenix Downs and whatever. So
it's a completely different scenario.
Just and so everybody knows, I hate that term. I just use it to be ironic.
YOLO?
Yes.
Does anybody here actually like saying YOLO? Does anybody?
I worked with a bunch of people who said it all the time to the point where it drove me so crazy. I accepted it at a point and I only said it back in ironic
I only know high school boys who say it. But anyway, moving back.
You know high school boys?
My little brother's in high school. He's about to graduate. I'm so proud of him.
Fun of you.
Anyway, come on, guys, get it together. Anyway, so we have Kirito, who basically tells her, "Look, you're not gonna die. I'm gonna protect all of you." And unbeknownst to them, he's a much higher level, and he's been going to the higher floors to continue leveling up. So in Kirito's mind, he's like, I will protect all of you. And so they go back together, and actually they have a moment where for a minute I thought this was going to become a completely different anime.
Right? I didn't think it was going to go that far. And that would answer my questions like, do they feel things in the game? Because
we are in a different game now. This is now a dating sim.
I'm just saying, what's his name? Klein couldn't feel it when the warthog rammed into his genitals. So I'm just saying,
cue up the porno music.
I'm just saying.
But for a moment, but we see that they're sleeping in the same bed, but it's just so she can kind of get some solace.
It's a sweet, tender, almost like brother, like little sister going to big brother's bed kind of moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
but for a moment we're all like, But during this time, we see him assert that I'm going to protect all of you. Cut to the next scene where they've earned enough money as a guild to go buy a house. So Keita's going to the town of beginnings to go and buy their house. And that's when I think it's Ducker gets the smart idea.
Ducker.
Damn it, Ducker.
Yellow Ducker. But he gets the smart idea to go up to one of the higher floors to try to get more money, because you get more money when you tackle higher bosses and everything like that. So Kirito's going, guys, that's probably not a great idea. We should just stick to our normal route.
And then Sasamaru goes, hey, that's a great idea. Sasamaru exists to agree with Ducker in his terrible decisions.
Ducker, I feel like it was Tetsuo who was the one who originally mentioned it, and then
Yellow
went around
Ducker.
with it.
Ducker is the yellow one.
Ducker.
He's the thief.
Okay.
He's the one that goes and opens the chest like an idiot.
Because everything in this episode is his fault.
I thought it was going to be one of the.
Be real.
I feel like it was going to be one of the chests with teeth.
Those are awful. But anyway, so we're up on the 27th floor.
27th floor.
The one that was just cleared. So we're up.
They're on the 27th floor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
28th
they're
is
up
the
on
one that Klein and company were on.
Yeah, so they're up on the 27th floor. And they fall right into a trap. Thanks, Ducker, you jerk.
He opens a door, and there's nothing in
and
this
poor
enclosed
Kirito
room but a chest. And Kirito's like, don't do it, don't go in there. And Ducker's like, yeah.
And I don't know how.
And then doom.
I don't know if you guys like horror movies. I know you don't. But it's just one of those horror movie moments. Don't go in there.
And then. Well, and the thing is, at that point, they're overconfident because right before he opens that door, he's talking about, see, it's been cake. I told you we could do this. Oh, hey, a treasure chest. he's not thinking that anything could possibly go wrong because everything's been going so right.
And
that's when life gets you.
It's exactly when that happens.
I don't understand though. Like, I mean, when they went up there, I didn't know they were going to go so high in the level either, because it's like, what makes you think that you'd be able to take it on? What level are you guys at? Like, there's no way you could have done that in the first place.
I think it was because
Overconfidence.
Kirito had been helping them to level up. So yeah, they totally were like, oh yeah, we'll do this like a boss. And nope, that's not how that they are not that cool.
So they
Sorry,
get
guys.
Door
Swarmed.
slam shut.
They get swarmed by I looked it up because we didn't get the name of the actual characters by dark dwarf miners and granite elements.
Slaughter knots and murder golems. It must be my birthday.
Yeah, according to the abridged series, they're slaughtered.
Slaughter knots and murder golems.
Dear Lord. But yeah, and so they're trapped and they can't teleport out. And it's just
It's a slaughter.
A 2-minute thing of just seeing first Ducker, then Tetsuo, then Sasamaru, and just seeing them get absolutely annihilated. And this is where I start to wonder whether or not they can actually feel pain in the game, because
There's a lot of screaming.
There was quite a bit of screaming, and it could be that you're just scared because you know you're about to die when this is happening.
Yeah.
Or if it's actual pain, because I could see it going both ways, because they looked like they were not having a good time.
Yeah,
I mean,
having a great time. Slaughter
It's
knots
just
and
one of
murder
those
golems.
things where I feel like it was just something so stupid that could have been prevented, but at the same time, aside from just, oh, I said I'd protect them and I didn't protect them, I don't understand how any of it was his fault.
We're
He
not
tried.
against
He
it.
tried so hard.
He
Like,
tried,
it bugs the
and
crap
then
out of me.
Sachi
But then,
takes a hit, and
And then we get a scene that happens quite a bit in anime, and actually occasionally in movies too, where you have a character and they're clearly talking, but we go silent and we can't tell what they're saying. And then
she dies.
Sachi disappears, and we smash cut to Christmas
Eve.
What that was the
Christmas.
weirdest transition I think this show has done so far, because we didn't even see Kirito finish the fight and get out. We just smash cut straight to Christmas, and he's talking to an information broker named Argo the Rat, who we don't even mention by name. We had to go look her up.
Dashing through the snow.
She's
all
a
your friends are
character that's
dead.
bigger in the light novels, I feel. Or at least we get more
Yes.
information about her from the light
Yes.
novels. But she's basically giving him information that
For free, because she's like, hey, I don't even know what's going on with this. This is a one-time event that's happening. So, but I feel like enough people know about it that it's for free for you, so I'm not going to charge you this time.
yeah.
Well, she used to be a beta tester.
Yeah,
She straight up says,
She's like, this isn't like the beta.
This hasn't happened
Which,
before.
I don't know about you guys, but looking at her character's design, she looks like an avatar. She looks like an in-game avatar. Just
does.
with the
She
marks
looks
on
like
her
an
face, and
NPC.
she's got green hair and everything like that. I was like, are we sure they can't, like, augment their appearance in the game? Because she looks like she's an avatar.
Maybe. Or it could be one of those things where when they get, items and stuff, they can actually wear them and change their hair and stuff.
Maybe that could
Still
be
their
the case.
face.
But basically, we there's a rumor going around, and we get Kirito kind of monologuing to himself about how there's a rumor that this rare item can res dead players, even though that in this game, death is permanent. And we get
A flashback.
really quick. We get a lot of quick cuts to Keita's reaction to the news, Kirito giving him that all of them are dead, and that Kirito was lying to them the whole time about his actual level, and that's when we get Keita going, "You're a beater. You had no business being with us." So we actually do see the cheater beta tester thing come back.
Yes.
Which I don't know.
Once.
But I don't know how. What does it have to do? Like, it made me almost like so annoyed to that point. It's like, I get all your friends are dead. That doesn't mean that it's like, all right, time to give up. Boom. And like, maybe this is just my overall opinion on the whole topic of suicide in general. Sorry.
Yeah,
you
Keita walks off the edge.
He
He
didn't
goes
walk,
into
he just
the
flops.
He flops over the rail into the endless void. He might not have died. This game is programmed by a sadist. He could just be eternally falling. I
Yeah,
just
we
made
don't know
it
if
worse.
we don't know if there's a bottom to that floor.
We don't know
But
if it's like Zelda,
if it's
where
anything
after you
like
hit a
Halo,
certain point, you're dead.
Die.
Yeah,
You're just
but
falling forever.
But basically, I just got so annoyed with the fact, because I was like, even if he was a beta tester, I mean, the whole idea of him cheating, even in that second episode, was stupid because he didn't cheat anything. Even if he did know that the boss was going to have a different weapon, it's not cheating because you didn't say anything.
Yeah, and he didn't know. And the second he found out, he tried to warn Diabo.
Yes. And then, and then flashing forward to this part, and I don't understand. Again, it just annoyed me. Like, I didn't understand how it was his fault. Like, you had no business being with us. I was like, it's like, bro, you invited me.
Because
and he protected him.
Keita is looking for someone to blame. It can't be his friend's fault because they died when he wasn't there to help them. Obviously, the only survivor who has been lying to them the entire time is the one who's at fault. And then he's a 15-year-old who just learned that 4 of his closest friends died, so he doesn't want to deal with life anymore.
Yeah.
It's not logical.
It's just stupid because it's like they died in vain.
No, it's a lot of just the
Well, we don't know a lot about Keita either.
That's true too. But you're absolutely
leader.
right. Logic has absolutely nothing to do with this decision, and that factors into suicide a lot of times. It's not a logical decision; it's an emotional decision. And at that point,
can I just say
and
though,
I think like 90% of people who survive say that after they commit the act, they go, "Shoot, I immediately regret this decision. I don't actually want to die."
And then I'm kind of laughing though in the end though because it's like, did he jump off with the keys? Because later you see Kirito in this like house that looks like it was the same house that he and Sachi were in. So I'm kind of like,
yeah, I believe Keita jumped off. He's holding the keys to the house that they bought.
Oh, I think they were just in an inn or something.
You're right because he didn't get the house till after everybody died.
Or while everyone was dying.
They never saw the house.
Yeah,
that was just an inn.
Yeah, and I don't think Kirito would have any reason to go back there. So he would just go
to remind himself of his misery. But
we've also heard that Kirito, and Argo the rat brings this up, that Kirito has been being extremely reckless. I'm lacking a word. Thank you. In his leveling up, that he's doing things that a solo player should not do because guess who doesn't seem to care about his own life anymore?
And another thing, since we jumped to Christmas, they're all level 35 now. Mm-hmm. So, we progressed further in the game and everything as well. Time has passed and Kirito's been alone this whole time.
8 months and he's still freaking out. 6 months and it's still a huge issue.
And so, Kirito is going to try to get this item because he knows where it's going to drop. When all of a sudden Klein and his guild pop up. They've been following him and Klein is begging him. He's like, look, you can't be doing this anymore. It's reckless, what you're doing. You're going to get yourself killed. And you should just join up with us and whoever grabs the item at the end, that they get it. That's fair. Whatever. Just please don't do this. Yes. Don't continue down this really self-destructive path. When all of a sudden the Divine Dragon Alliance pops up, Klein was being followed, and so Klein agrees that they're going to go ahead and fight them off, and Kirito can go and fight the boss and get the item.
And give credit to Kirito though, because there was a point where he was like, "No, let me help." So, I mean, I think he would have just totally been written off as total,
and what was interesting, too, before they showed up, he was getting ready to draw his sword on Klein. So I think that says a lot about where he's at mentally, as he was willing to fight off a friend to go and get this item to try to revive Sachi.
I don't think that's what it was, though. I think he started to just pull it out, meaning like, I don't even care about myself, I'm going to do this. The other guys were pulling out their swords. I don't even know if it was like I'm going to fight you. I think it was more just like the other guys thought he was going to attack. So
it was more like I'm going to do this alone, and they thought,
haha. They're like, what? Put that down, bro. And then it always turns into a freaking
thank goodness for
frat
the
party.
Divine Dragon Alliance for immediately diffusing the situation. Then,
so Kirito runs off to face giant, evil, creepy, blue-faced Santa Claus.
Creepiest Santa Claus I've ever
It
seen.
looks like he got strangled, and his eyeballs started coming out of his head.
But and then we don't even get to see the fight. Like, this is an episode almost completely free of fighting, with the exception of seeing the Moonlit Black Cats getting killed. But Klein is able to fight off the other group,
Dragon Alliance,
the Dragon Alliance, and then Kirito comes back and he's won, but it's a hollow victory because the item it can revive players, but only if it's administered within 10 seconds of death. So he tosses it to Klein, and he's like, if anybody ever dies in front of you, use this.
Because
and then
that's your grace period before the microwave fries your brain.
Exactly. And so he turns to walk away, and Klein grabs him by the coat and goes, look, whatever you do, stay alive. Like, because he's clearly not going to convince Kirito to join them, and Kirito's just off doing his own thing. So he begs him. He's like, just whatever you do, don't die. And we see him break down and cry and let him go.
What I meant. Like, he's like, don't go to the other woman. It's fine. It's me. It's just, I can't. Like,
don't go into death.
Like, he broke off in that moment, and I just heard, like, that's all I heard during that scene.
And if you thought emotions ran high there,
we get the next
back to his room.
We get the next scene, and he has a gift from Sachi, which has appeared in his inventory, and she sent him a message before she died. She's like, by the time you get this, I will probably be dead, but I don't want you to blame yourself, because I know that you wanted to protect us. I know what your actual level is. Sorry, I peaked. But it made me really happy, because that made her feel like, at least Kirito has a chance.
Well, not only that, but I almost feel like it's also because she probably felt even safer with somebody who obviously could take on the levels of the monsters that they've been fighting.
Exactly.
And protect them all, except when you're, it's a giant horde in a tiny room.
Slaughtering off the murder golems.
And she's like, seeing that it's Christmas, I'll sing you a song and start,
because I don't know the English words.
She just hums most of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and you're seeing Christmas scenes outside, and you're seeing Kirito crying
and then it goes,
inside
of his
that's
room.
all the time I have. Goodbye. Click.
And we also get that
episode.
she says, what she probably said, or at least what he's taking as her last words were thank you and goodbye. We don't know if that's what she actually said, but it's heavily inferred that that's what she said to him when the audio was muted. And that was something interesting too, was he didn't know what she said. And most of the time in anime or in movies, when they do that, it's so that the audience doesn't know, to create ambiguity. But in this one, it was he didn't know what she said. And so that was a big driving force for him wanting to revive her, to find out what she was trying to tell him. But yeah, I was spoiled heavily for this episode because of the abridged series. So I wasn't expecting...
Stop watching the abridged series till you watch the rest of it.
But it's so funny.
It's only 4 episodes in.
But it was really, I was not expecting to be as emotionally touched as I was in this episode. So that, the moment she starts humming Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and we get the name of the episode, I was really touched, and I was really surprised at how moved I was.
And then it was like, in the end, I was just like, you were supposed to die here in the opening credits.
This is why I feel like it was nothing but emotional manipulation. We have created this entire guild of 5 people that he likes, that he becomes friends with, really good friends with Sachi, etc., only to shove them all in the fridge for the sole purpose of making Kirito and the audience feel sad. If this doesn't factor into the next episode, it was nothing but manipulation, and I'm ticked off that they fridged that many people for that purpose.
But they needed to, because it was an important part of the development of the character. It's probably going to show. I mean, I have seen the next episode. It doesn't really without trying to give spoilers away, it doesn't really give too much backtracking into the 3rd episode, but there's a reason, he meets a character, that's all I'm going to say, and if it wasn't for the fact that he had this experience with trying to help these guys, it probably wouldn't happen. Again, it's a very important part.
It's important for his character arc. It might not play a part into the plot overall, but it's something that was pivotal to his character
What
arc.
I feel like it'll show, because again, I've only seen up to the 4th episode, but from what I feel like it's going to show him that just because you can lose people you care about does not mean it's not worth caring about them in the first place.
That they're not worth fighting for.
Exactly.
So I think that does it for this week's episode. Katie, where can the people find you?
The people can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I'm also on the Attack on Titan AfterBuzz.
Liz, where can people find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lizzie Mawy. That's LIZZYMAWY.
And I'm Megan. You can find me on Twitter at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on the Attack on Titan and Turn panels here on Sunday nights. So that does it for this week's AfterBuzz for Sword Art Online. We will see you guys next week. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.